In. Well, hello, everybody. Welcome to Lunch Bunch on this October 23rd. Oh, my goodness. Can you believe it's the 23rd of October already? And we are going over, what is it, chapter 11?
Yes.
Yeah. Chapter 11. I did read it. I just couldn't remember the number. And the title is The Truth No One Told You About Adult Friendship.
Yeah, it was pretty good.
It was so good. It was short and sweet, right?
Yes. I just listened. I just was listening to it again.
I almost did that. I almost hit play a second time because I'm like, man, and I really wanted to go into the next chapter because I like that story. I remember the story in chapter 12. So that's what we have to look forward to this next week. But share with me, with everyone, what your thought processes were. Like, what were your aha moments with this chapter? Did
The
you read it,
biggest
Leslie?
uh,
Yeah. Okay. Go ahead, Jody.
my biggest thing was we about friendships, how we look at friendships like we're in, pre-K. And we're not in pre-K mentally, physically, or anything. So why aren't we growing? It was just kind of like an aha. Well, I'd be danged. I had to read a book because that just it was
No
like
one,
so simple, stupid, but
I know, no one's ever explained friendship to me.
no.
I've
It,
never heard an explanation of friendships and I mean maybe if you're a psych major, you've gotten this, but I've never had this type of training. And it just blew my ever-loving mind the first time I read this chapter. It continues to. How about you, Leslie? Yeah, like we're all walking around like a bunch of 8-year-olds.
I agree. I mean, I have been a little 5-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah.
I could relate to like the different um seasons of friendships, I guess you could say.
Mm-hmm.
Um, just looking back, like you kind of think, why aren't we friends anymore? But like I'm not friends with anybody except my best friend that I was friends with in like high school. But and
Like,
I don't remember. I
like
listened
you're
to a
best friends, or are you just still friends? Because I'm friendly with a lot of people I grew up with, but we're not as close as we were.
No, this is my best friend. Now we've not been friends. So like we were friends in high school. We lived near each other. And so we were friends in high school and then we went our separate ways and we did not really speak to each other or do anything for years up until probably the last, I don't know, maybe 10 years.
Mhm.
Um we kind of reconnected and we're like best friend. I mean, we talk like multiple times a day. Um,
Are your kids the same age?
so it's funny because we actually were married the same year, within months of each other. And our Stella and her daughter are a year apart. And she adopted two of my foster kids. So we fostered together.
Hmm.
So like we do life together. But like there was a span where we were not friends and it was because of life choices. You know, like when we graduated high school, she had aspirations of going to college. I had no intentions of going to college. Um I
So
was
she's in
more
school. She's not local to you anymore or hanging around different people in school, right?
right, and I think a lot of it was when me and Sid got together. Sid was 5 years older than me. So like I didn't hang out with my people from high school, and it kind of related to where she was talking about like your sports friends. So I was big into sports. So like that was our common denominator, like from small to, high school was sports. And like I mean, we lived with each other because that's what we did with sports all the time. And so then after high school, And then when me and Sid got together, I hung out with his friends. So I didn't really do anything with any of my high school friends because I stayed in Madison when other people, left to go to college. And then like I even can see it like after me and Sid got married, and there was a group of us who were all around the same age, and like all of our kids are the same age. So like we were all pregnant together. But now we don't really hang in that same group because now we're kind of adults, and some people still choose to party, whereas I'm more of being a parent.
Right.
So like I can look back and see the different like areas or different circles of friends that I've been through.
But not even realizing it at that time, right?
Not as much. I mean, when I don't know, like I didn't just realize this. Like I've always
Well, I know why I've separated from certain people. Like I've intentionally distanced myself from some
yes.
people I went to high school with, just like you said. They wanted to keep partying like a high schooler, and
Mm-hmm.
I was parenting actually David and I just had a conversation about that. My son, when he was in the hospital the other day, we were talking about friendships. And his girlfriend's at a crossroads with one of her friends from high school because she parties too much and she needs help. She like needs to get herself checked in somewhere and really get some help. And there was a scenario just like that when David was little, where my best friend from growing up, I mean, we were best friends starting in elementary school, like first grade, all the way through high school and beyond. And we had kids close together. Her son was, I think, like a year older than David. And so I kept trying to keep that relationship going, even though we lived farther apart from one another. And so there was this party that one of our high school friends was having at her house, but we all had kids. So like we wanted to be able to have some drinks, but we weren't going to drive our kids and drink. So we turned it into a sleepover where because the kids were friends. So, all right, let the kids play and they'll have a sleepover and then we'll have a party in the basement where her bar was and pool table and stuff. And that's just what we decided to do. Well, I was really sick and David did not want to miss this party. So I went and I was just on the couch upstairs, like kind of watching over the kids and watching a movie because I just didn't feel well. I couldn't be in the basement. And my girlfriend ended up getting obliterated. Is that the way you say the word? Obliterated, whatever the word is. And her son and my son were on a double bed together. And she went and just kind of passed out in between them. And my son came up to me in the middle of the night and he said, "Mom, I wet the bed." And I'm like, "What?" Like he was too old to wet the bed. Like he didn't have an issue. So I'm like, "But your back is wet. Like your privates aren't even wet. What is going on here?" And I look, she peed the bed. She was so drunk, she peed on my kid. And that was the end of our relationship right there. Now, do I still talk to her today? Am I still friendly with her? Yes. And I know people change too. Is she still doing that? I don't really know because I don't party with her. But I do know throughout the years that she lost quite a few relationships of high school friends because she just refused to mature. Yeah. And then there's the friends like that I still consider myself good friends with, but we live in different states. We're not talking to each other every day. Like I don't know as much about her as I used to. Hello, Samsung. Oh, it's Tara. Like whoever this is. You're muted, so we can't hear you. Let me give you your sticker.
Okay, thank you.
All right. How are you?
Good.
Good?
I mean, I'm fantastic.
All right, I like it. I like it. Did you read this chapter?
I did, yes.
So good. I was just telling this crazy story about my childhood best friend and when I actually had to break up with her, but I didn't have like a breakup conversation with her. She just felt my distance after that. You know, we're gonna keep our distance from this one.
Okay.
But then other people that I would still, if we lived nearby each other, we'd still be hanging out all the time. But I'm 1,000 miles away from all the people I grew up with, you know? So now it's creating new friendships and which ones are important enough for me to really make the time for. And a lot of my Mary Kay friends, Mary Kay sales directors are friends and consultants, you know? And that's because I spend the most time. It interested me the amount of hours that you have to spend with somebody to be a casual friend versus a really good friend.
I don't have any really good friends.
Well, that's just
Well, see, hey, Leslie said she doesn't have no friends. She's got her one best friend. And I'm like, well, okay, hello. Who am I?
no, I didn't say that I don't have friends. I just said I have one friend, like we do everything together.
Right. Well, we do a lot of stuff.
We do a
together,
lot together. I'm
Leslie.
talking about like kid wise. Like
You're-
we go on
you're the
vacations
coworker,
together.
Jody. You're the
I'm
coworker.
tired of being people's coworkers when I thought I was their friends.
You are
But-
my friend.
But you and Leslie are also, so that falls into the timing, right? You and
I know.
Leslie are in very different points of life right now. You're supposedly an empty nester. I don't know. I keep seeing babies in the picture, but
There is absolutely no empty nesting around here, girlfriend. It's more than when we left. Hello?
I brought David here after his surgery and he quickly went right back home. Don't let him get too comfortable. Yep. So, and he was talking about his living situation too and how he's not very comfortable with it. And I said, "Oh, what are you going to do about that? Like if you could create the perfect, you know, situation." I don't think he wants to live here. I don't think that's what he was inching at because he loves his independence, but I know when he's here, he's like, "Oh my gosh, this house is so clean and so nice," right? I don't think the house he's in is very clean. But okay, moving on. So yes, you know, like once Leslie's an empty nester, y'all might be better friends because she won't have kids to think about, to be home for and to feed and that kind of thing. You know what I mean? I don't ever take offense to all of that. And I was
I
listening
was
to something.
laughing. That is a
Yeah, I
joke.
know. I
But
know. But
I
was
did want to
listening-
say that because that is part of the chapter, you know, like it's I don't know. And I hit, and I didn't mean to cut you off, but I
No, it's
hit,
okay.
it did hit whenever we started talking about coworkers because who I thought was, I would not have called her my best friend, but we were close. I mean, her kids lived here, my kids lived there, youth, like we had lots of core. And you know, whenever the job left, that left too. So that book was, you know, on point for that chapter of Jody's life. And we've even talked about me and Leslie's talked about another one, Susie, that we both worked with at the law office. She won't speak to me. She won't do anything. Like she'll speak to Leslie some, but like it's just kind of weird. We've talked about, you know, work, friendships. But whenever you sit there and tell people your most intimate
'cause
issues,
you're really good friends. You spend a
you
lot of time
feel
with them.
like
Yeah.
there's a trust and a friendship there. But whenever you quit collecting that paycheck, you're no longer that friend. And that does hurt a lot of people. That's a struggle.
Yeah.
Just because I no longer work there doesn't mean that I don't care, you know, for people, or, you know, I still don't care for their friendship, or, you know.
Right.
So that's a big thing I think in adulting with friendships is that work versus a friend.
I overheard David on the phone with his girlfriend yesterday, and asking her if she'd come pick him up. And I could tell she said, "Did you ask your mom?" Yeah, my mom's being productive right now and being a really good adult. She's adulting right now. So I can't distract her from that. Cause I told him, I'm like, David, I need to be productive today. I spent all day all about you yesterday. And I wanted to. That was a choice. I'm not upset over that. But today I need to be productive. There are things I need to get done. And I brought my Bible study book with me to the hospital. Like I knew enough to grab it when I walked out the door thinking I'm going to be gone a while. I might want to bring something to read. Well, I was so distracted I could not with his pain, like he was in pain right up until he went into surgery. I could not focus on anything but him during that time. And so uh I prayed, but I didn't read my Bible study, right? So then, so then I say, well, I'm going to do it when he goes into surgery. So he goes into surgery. I run downstairs. I grab myself a bite to eat from the cafeteria. I run into a unit member who works at this cafeteria, right? So talking to her. And then I get back upstairs. I sit down, put out my book, and my old neighbor who works at the hospital sees me and sits down and talks to me until she gets up to leave. And I pull out the book, and David's girlfriend shows up. Now she does not stop talking. She can't handle silence at all. So that took up all my time. I did not, and by the time I got home, I was exhausted. I just wanted to shower and just relax. And I had David here. So anyway, I said to Tom yesterday, I said, I am making the time to catch up on this Bible study. It's terrible that I am a small group leader and I am not caught up to where we are right now in this book, right? So I read a few days yesterday, and this morning I said, I am finishing this chapter today, no matter what. If I start to look at my phone, because I pick up my phone to read the Bible verses that they're telling me to read, and then all of a sudden I'm on Facebook, right? Or I'm checking a text. And all this is about is being obedient. This is about the crisis of belief when God gives you this huge thing, right? And so I just kept focusing on the floodgates opening and what's in front of me, and I have to put in the activity in order for God to bless the work, right? And I forced myself to finish this. And do you know, when I went back to my phone, I had 4 orders. 4 very nice size orders waiting for me on my text message. God blessed the effort. But it wasn't the effort I was thinking about. It was the effort to make time for him. So good. What does that have to do with this? I don't know. What were we talking about? Oh, the friendships. The friendships. Yeah. So we were talking with David's girlfriend about this friendship, and I talked with her about having boundaries and not, I mean, she's basically enabling. If you're drinking with her, you're enabling her to drink even though you don't have a drinking problem. Don't drink with her. Don't allow yourself to do that, kind of thing. Anyway, and then we were talking about coworkers. I don't know. Something brought me that way. God wanted me to just tell y'all, read your Bible study, read your Bible. And then 2 of you disappeared when I start talking about God. Leslie's in it though. Leslie's still here.
I also think our friendships change the more we mature.
Yeah, for sure.
Because I mean, I love friendships, but here's the thing. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I ain't got time for no drama.
Yeah.
And if you got drama, I don't need your drama in my life. So we can be friends, but you got to keep your crazy to yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, and I can't handle complaining. If I'm around somebody that's complaining, I would rather err on the side of positivity. And we had a lot of that going on yesterday in our director Bible study group. And I'm like, wow, can we turn this around? We're supposed to feel good after we leave this group. Like, let's breathe for a minute and talk about the glory of God and not, what we can't control. So I fought with that a little bit yesterday. But people will realize if you won't allow complaining around you, they won't complain around you anymore.
Yes.
And yeah, so my stepson Joe, call him my bonus son, he came over the other day. He's having a lot of life changes. Him and his girlfriend of a long time broke up. He has to move for this new job. And so he's been going through a lot, and it took everything to get him here the other night. So he comes over and we're like, "Oh, are you still Zooming with the Amy's? Because my bonus daughter married a woman named Amy. They're both named Amy. So we call them the Amy's. And Tom and I Zoom with them twice a month. And they just came back from a trip to Italy. And we saw all these beautiful pictures and heard all these great stories. And Joe's version of their trip was all the things they complained to him about. And I'm like, well, there you go. If you allow them to complain, they're going to complain to you, but we turn it around. So they know us enough that we're not going to listen to your complaints. What went well on this trip? What did you enjoy? And they told us all the beautiful things, and his version of their trip sounded terrible. Isn't that amazing? Same trip, same people, telling different versions of what that trip was. Maybe because I don't know, maybe because they felt Joe wasn't at a place to hear all the great things that were going on with them. So they made it sound worse than it was to make him feel better. I don't know. I don't know what that's about, but I was glad I didn't hear that version of the trip when we were talking to him on Zoom. So yeah. And you become the 5 people you surround yourself with the most. So if you're going to surround yourself with complainers, with the broke, busted, and disgusted, that's who you are. I learned that pretty early on in Mary Kay and have followed that for sure. Surround yourself with people who celebrate you versus tolerate you. Yeah.
My mom used to tell me her version was, if you lay with dogs, you're gonna get fleas, Jody. That was my kids' version. And then whenever I moved to Madison and started going to church with David, his uncle Tommy, who was our pastor for a while, his favorite thing was he would tell his kids, you are who you hang out with. So, and that's true. You do what people you're around do, you talk like them, you're just trying to fit in. So, you are who you hang out with. And then you come into Mary Kay and it's, who are you spending the 5 people around? So, and it does make a difference, y'all. It does. And I will tell y'all, like, just turning it around. I don't think this is really the subject of this book, but you do have the ability of turning other people around by your positive. So everybody knows the 2 weeks of hell that I went through up there at that nutrition shop, and was like, holy moly. Well, and I've tried to, like, give her some pointers, like, she has the tattoo, and I've told her, have you read that book that you have tattooed on you? I think you need to, blah, blah, blah. And some, just trying to throw in some little pointers when I can, not in the moment that she's having an emotion, but when her emotions is settled, then to try to come in. And I tell y'all, the past 2 weeks now have been phenomenal up there. I'm back to enjoying going up there because it's given me some girl time, to get out and hang out with some people instead of just at the house with children and dogs, because I feel like I'll start wagging my tail because I'm hanging around with fat dogs. No, but
Mary Kay is all about girl time.
You're right.
Just have more parties on your books and you'll have all the
I'm working on that too. I'm working on that too. So, but it is, I mean, so I just wanted to say that you can use yours yours and turn it around to those people that you are. You got to do it at the right time. Not and the hype of their emotions, but Michelle's like another person. Honestly, she is like another person. I did order her the book, Let Them, and put it on her desk because she said she had it in her cart, but she hadn't got it. So I did that for her. But it's just really how you go about looking at it. And I know I did, got in such a funk, and I was so negative, and all my thoughts were negative. I didn't have a job, couldn't pay my bills. This isn't happening. People in town don't like me. People in town are hindering me. Everything was an excuse of negativity, and it just turned it around. You are where you are for the choices you made or the choices you allowed others to make for you.
Yeah.
Swallow that, get over your friendships and move on. Oh.
Stop throwing your sucker in the dirt and
That's
calling
right.
people sap suckers.
I'm still gonna call him a sap sucker sometimes, but I will tell y'all, I saw Pat for the first time.
Oh, okay.
Chuck has been in the hospital since Saturday. They have been thinking he has throat cancer. We had some good news a little bit last night. One test is leaning not towards cancer. So they've got a little bit of, bright, but I did see Pat and, hugged her and we apologized. And, she went to go talk about Mary Kay in the hospital. And I told her, I said, it's fine. Let it go. Let it go. So yeah, I had to tell Christy that. So
That's
yep.
awesome.
Go on.
That's great to hear. Not about Chuck. I'll pray for
Right.
her. For sure. Tara, how about you? Tara, are you with us? She might have walked away. And I believe Jane is not with us because she has a facial from that woman that she met at Patchington the other day. She had emailed me last night about her doing her first facial today, but I don't know what time it's at. There she is. World changer. I love that sweatshirt. So go ahead and unmute yourself. What do you want to share about this chapter?
Thank you. I'm working from my phone today, so it's a little different. And thank you for the sweatshirt compliment. I did hear you. I think a couple things stood out because, as always, something about this book, the timing is impeccable. And of course, I believe God makes the timing perfect when you're reading something. We have a new friendship group in my neighborhood, and the neighborhood that connects to ours. And well, there are two things that I really noticed. One, the two neighborhoods are divided into two sides. One is kind of the newer section, different style of homes, different types of homes. Newer section, a lot more young kids. We're in a military town, so a lot more younger soldiers. And then our side is like the retired, it's where the golf course is. It's like the retiree side, different types of homes, brick and things like that. Anyway, I don't consider any side any nicer or better than the others, but everybody else does, or other people do. I won't say everybody. And so I have found that on this side, most of my friendships are with women that are much older than me. I think just because of my mentality and my mindset. But the more authentic friendships that have developed, even literally in the last couple of months, because these are kind of new things that I'm branching out to do for all kinds of purposes, personal and professional. The other side with the younger ladies are more authentic friendships because they're honest and they're just more real. And I'm generalizing, but we have a group of 10 ladies and we get together once a month on Saturday. And just whatever we throw together, whatever we plan, we try not to plan anything, too intricate or detailed or whatever. We just kind of throw it together and all bring something and kind of hang out and talk. And the conversations and the friendship levels have deepened. We have a group chat, all of that. And the ones with the older ladies on this side, it's such a pretentious kind of feel. And even though I'm much older than most of the ladies in the younger group, it just feels refreshing to see just that side of people, I guess. And so there were so many things that were within this chapter that reminded me of that. And so I tried to like think about my friendships in relation to the way she divided them up. And I think they were called pillars. And so just seeing that, like being in these new friendship groups was kind of cool, like, you know, relating what I read to the groups. So
Yeah, that's excellent. Let's talk about that. So in chapter 11, Robbins dives into the complexities of adult friendships, shedding light on a transition that many face after high school or college, which she terms the Great Scattering. This phase marks a period when close-knit friend groups tend to disperse, often leaving individuals feeling disconnected or uncertain about maintaining friendships as adults. And I have to say, there are a lot of people that sit at my table that say they don't have any friends. There are a lot of adults that either choose not to have friends or just really don't know how to make friends. And Robbins contrasts childhood friendships, which are often facilitated by structured environments like schools and extracurricular activities, with the challenges that come with sustaining meaningful connections into adulthood. And Robin introduces the concept of the 3 pillars of friendship, like Tara just said, which are proximity, timing, and energy. Each of these factors plays a crucial role in how friendships evolve over time. Proximity, the University of Kansas research shows that casual friendships require 74 hours of interaction, and close friendships demand over 200 hours. The more time you spend with someone, the closer the relationship tends to become. I almost want to go live on my Facebook and share this. Like, this is like blow your mind. What? And then timing, Robbins explains that people in similar life stages naturally share more in common, which facilitates stronger connections as life stages change. So do dynamics of relationships. So they're like, okay, well, I'm spending over 200 hours with my coworkers. Why aren't they my best friends? Because they're in different times of their lives. Empty nesters versus little kids. No kids versus empty nesters, right? So she talks about her daughter, how her daughter had to basically lie about what she was doing because she's getting hammered with her friends over the weekend and passing out. And they're all like, you know, going to the botanical gardens and spending time with their grandkids. So she feels the need to just lie about what she even does because she doesn't fit in with any of her coworkers. And then energy. This pillar refers to the intangible connection between individuals, which can fluctuate. It's the energy that fuels interactions, and it can change over time based on the life circumstances or priorities of the individuals involved. The chapter emphasizes the importance of accepting the natural cycles of friendship rather than trying to force connections to persist. Robbins references the common saying that some friendships exist for a season, others for a specific reason, and a few endure for a lifetime. She illustrates this point with a personal story of being excluded from a friend group, which helped her understand the need to adapt to changing dynamics. This is in the next chapter, though. So ultimately, Robbins encourages readers to let go of rigid expectations about friendships and adopt a more flexible, understanding view of adult relationships. And someone said recently, I don't know what I was listening to, or even if it was this chapter, that I think it was this chapter, that saying best friend, that puts a lot of pressure on one relationship, why there needs to be a best friend. Did she talk about that in this chapter, or was I reading something else?
I don't.
So it must have been something else that I was listening to. But there's so much pressure put on a best friend that you could just have a few really good friends. You don't have to have a best friend, you know, and I've found over the years, my best friends fluctuate. Who my best friend was 5 years ago wouldn't be my best friend today. And there's only a few that are really in my inner circle that I'll tell everything to. Very few in that category. Just because, like you said, Jody, you know, you share your innermost thoughts with this person and then they don't care if you're alive the next day. Like I believe that 200-hour rule. You can,
And I guess that's why after being married for a amount of time, you say that your husband is your best friend.
yeah, absolutely.
I mean, honestly,
Yeah.
there's no way. I mean, even as much time, like, let's think about it. If I had to say who I spend the most time with, would be, and honestly, be Mary Kay. I mean,
Outside of your home, outside of the people you
right,
live with. Right.
right. I mean, I spend more time face to face than I do even with the nutrition shop, because I'm usually up there by myself, or I might do a 15-minute or something like that. But I spend the most time, honestly, it would be Leslie, Christy, Tara, like who's on the screen, because me and Leslie do events together.
Mhm.
And then, so it would be like that. But there's absolutely no way I spend 200 hours with y'all.
Right.
I don't even think we spend 70 hours. That's a lot.
I mean, we're not talking a week.
But I
think she
don't
just
even know
said
if
in
we have
general,
spent 70 hours in 3 years together. That's a lot.
Mm.
So we might not even be casual friends by looking at that. And then that kind of is like, and this one is because I feel like I take friendship to a different level than other people, because if we share intimate stuff, that is a relationship that I hold dear
Mhm.
and value. So therefore, I don't think that for the wind to blow different, that friendship should change.
Mhm.
But so I'm gonna have to read this book 14 times, this chapter.
I know I've shared the story of Tyretta many times, especially recently, because October is when I went into DIQ and she was the 10th person that put me there. Do you guys remember that?
Mm-hmm.
So Tyretta and I met at AT&T when I worked in the call center, and I was moved from the call center, and I was given like an $11,000 pay cut and sent like 60 miles away from my house. And it was rough. And it was when I moved to that location that I lost some connection with some of the people that I worked in the call center with, right? And then I was fired from the company and I didn't know who my friends were. Like I was reported by people that I thought were my friends, right? So I went through and I unfriended every single person I knew that worked at AT&T. I didn't discriminate at all. They're all coming off. And I got a phone call from Tyretta one day and she was livid. What in the hell? I just looked on Facebook and we're no longer friends. Do you really look at us that way? She called me out on it. And I'm like, listen, I'll add you back, but I got to tell you what happened. And I told her, and she said, I will tell you that I am one of a few people that would always have your back. It was a black-white thing at the call center. All right. And I was the minority. And so I was bullied. I was picked on. I was the overachiever that always exceeded expectations of what I was supposed to do because that's how I was raised. And they didn't like that. A lot of people there didn't like that. And so she would stand up for me, but I didn't know who was standing up for me and who wasn't. It wasn't happening in front of me, you know? So it was kind of like, I'm done, you know? And I didn't, you know, look at color, background, age, nothing. If they work for AT&T, they came off my Facebook. And so slowly over the years, I've added a few of them back on because they've reached out and that kind of thing. But she even said, when I first met you, I didn't know you were too nice. Like we were wondering what you wanted. What does she want? She's so nice. She's complimenting us all the time. And they were on the defense from the minute I walked in. And she goes, I just realized quicker than others that you're just genuinely a nice person. Like to make people feel good. And that was before Mary Kay. That was, I started Mary Kay when I was in that office. So I was working there 18 years ago, but oh my goodness. But yeah, Tyretta and I have lasted through through a lot of relationships and moves and things like that. So no, she doesn't even live in Illinois. She lives in Texas. So no, she doesn't. Where does she live? She's moved around quite a few times with the company. She still works for AT&T. So, all right. So that is the brief description that the workbook gives us for this chapter. And so does this bring up an opportunity for you maybe to reach out to somebody that you really do want to have a relationship with? I think I realized that too when I first moved here to Florida, is that, oh, I'm going to have to make the effort now if I want to be friends with some of these people, because I'm the one that moved 1,000 miles away, right? So so I make the effort for the people I really want to still remain friends with. But then there's others, and there were people that made efforts when they came to visit Florida that Tom and I were shocked. Like, wow, we weren't even that close with them when we lived in Illinois, and they made an effort to come see us in Florida. That's pretty amazing. So we've actually gained some new friendships as well. So how about you guys?
Well, I'll just break the silence.
Go ahead, Tara. I could be silent forever. You guys have no idea how long I could sit in silence.
Nuh-uh. Well, not to get off track, but that's what Catherine always says about you. She's like, Mom, I can never, 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 never meet Christy. She's like, because she will ask me a question and look at me and then just sit silently and wait till I answer. So yeah, she knows already. And so now when I do it, she's like, Mom, don't do the Christy. Yeah. She's like, Mom, don't do the Christy. Because I'll ask her a question and then go. So anyway. I was gonna say there's something about there's a whole nother level of friendship among cultures and like a whole cultural aspect. And so when you mentioned that a minute ago, it made me think about there's something within I'll speak for me and I know it's recorded, but there's something within the African American culture, and I am Hispanic also, that we're taught to distrust instantly. And so that trusting someone who's too nice, like we hear that in my circles, in my cultural circles, you hear that all the time. You're always taught to distrust someone. So somebody that's too nice must want something. And so there's something that's ingrained. And so it took me a long time to really develop, good solid friendships. And Mary Kay amazingly has been the biggest catalyst of that, of people that just the go give spirit, and what that truly means has been phenomenal, like in the impact that it's made on my life. That people are just nice, because I'm that person. I'm always nice. I'm always smiling, and I'm usually positive and encouraging people. And so people always had this assumption of, what do you want? Oh, she must want something, And so I think it just adds a whole nother layer, I think, to friendships when you look at it from, where you come from. And that could be any culture.
Right.
But I think it's something that we don't really think about sometimes. And it's more than just race. It's a lot of it is just about upbringing,
Right.
There's so many aspects to it. So she needs to add some more pillars.
Yeah. No, I appreciate your honesty on that. And I've definitely seen that truth over the years in many different cultures. And I really take pride in the fact that our unit is so culturally diverse, because you'll see a lot of national areas that might be one race versus another race, and I don't know that they're intentionally doing that, but I love to expand and just share the love to everybody. I really don't look at color, age, even economical background. I don't look at any of that, because I know in Mary Kay, if you have a servant's heart, and you just want to learn to be better and do better, you will. And we were talking about this in our Bible study the other night, you know, sharing the word of God and bringing people closer to that is very similar to how we feel with sharing Mary Kay, right? And my pastor was saying on Sunday, like, stop being weird about it. And I've heard Karis Foreman do that. That's Heidi Gelzer's daughter. Like, just don't make it weird. Don't make what we do weird. Don't, you know, make what you're asking or saying weird, and they won't feel weird about it. And that's just kind of how I am. Like, I don't really make anything weird, but other people will make it weird because that's their train of thought, not mine, right? So good. How about you, Jody?
All of that. I've said a lot.
Well, you know, my first question was, does it make you want to reach out to somebody or acknowledge a friendship that you really want to keep? And I guess you've done some of that, you know, just by
I
seeing
have,
Jack this week. And
making some of those hard calls that you've challenged. My hard calls have been the ones, those have actually been the hurt friendships of jobs.
Mhm.
And it's okay. Need to pick better friends, Jody.
Well, when you know better, you do better, right?
That's right.
So every time,
And it's not
you
happening
correct.
to me, it's happening for me.
Yes.
So those are clearing some space out so I can get some real in my, because I have cut my circle down. I don't call people friends anymore. I'm very, very selective with those words, just from past, because if I call you my friend, then I have expectations. So if I don't call you my friend, then I don't hold you up to my friend expectations. So I have been working, you know, on that. And I honestly, I don't have any school friends. Whenever I got with my first husband, which was the absolute opposite of me, of what I hung out with, of how I was raised, I lost all those friends. And then I was 17 and pregnant. And, you know, I didn't go, like I told y'all, I didn't go to prom. I didn't graduate with my class and all that. So, because of the choices I'd made as a young kid. So I didn't have that part of bringing friendship along. Ever since Mary Kay, there is one girl who was like my BFF. My dad and her dad were best friends. Our moms were best friends. They cheered together. They planned weddings together. They planned pregnancies together. And my mama had a miscarriage. So I came 4 years later. So who was supposed to be my best friend? We were best friends, but then she went into high school and I was still like in elementary and middle school. So we were at different times and seasons. And since then, she has found me on Facebook and has just, you know, she's Heather. If you see my post, she's like, you go girl, you work it.
Yeah.
She's my childhood friend. And, you know, tell her all the time I'm going to see her. So that's about it. But yeah, but that did come from Mary Kay.
Yeah, that's excellent. How about you, Leslie?
Nope. I mean, I feel like if you're not friends with me now, there's a reason.
Love you.
I mean,
So you're saying you're not going to have any new friends going
I'm
forward?
not saying I'm not going to have any new
But it
friends.
doesn't make you want to rekindle a friendship.
There's no friendships in my past that I would want to rekindle at this point in my life.
And that's
Those
okay.
ties were cut for a reason.
Yeah.
And there was a reason for that friendship to end. And not that I don't like that person, but for whatever reason,
They
and
don't
it's
need
not
to
that
be-
we can't be acquaintances, but I don't.
There were people that I was acquaintances with growing up. Like we always, went to the same elementary, the same middle school, the same high school, but we weren't close back then. Where now I'm like, and we're friends on Facebook because that's what we do. We friend everybody that we kind of know, right? And there's a couple of them that I'm like, why aren't we friends? I really like you. I like everything you have to say. Like she likes all the things that I'm saying. So it's kind of cool to see that happen, as you grow and go, she's somebody I want to surround myself with, that we now have that choice. We're not put into the classroom with the people that we have to be friends with and go to the birthday parties and all of that just because they're in our class. But we can actually, decide. I think that's awesome.
I kind of think about like class reunions. Like I have never been to a class reunion because this is how I feel about class reunions. If we have not seen each other in 15 years, I have no desire to spend a whole weekend with you.
A weekend? Your class reunions are a weekend?
Well, usually they do something like a Friday night, a Saturday night. I mean, just like a couple weekends ago, they had like this mega reunion and it was like 10 classes or something like that. But this is my thing. Like we had a 5-year class reunion. If I have not seen you in 5 years,
I don't need to see you now.
I don't need to see you now, especially 20 years. If we have not spoke in the last 20 years, like there's really not a need for me to spend money to go see you.
I'm going to ask you to change your perspective on that a little bit. Are you open to that?
Sure.
You are a business owner and all of those people have skin and they might be married to your next best friend that you didn't know in high school. Like spouses are there. So you don't know who you're going to meet or what version they are today.
But I'm not saying I don't like them, but I'm just saying, like, if
You don't even know them.
But if we haven't had some sort of like connection or a reason to connect.
You have a reason to connect, your class reunion. That's a reason to reconnect with people and see who they are today. So just expand your thought process on networking to make new friends and influence people, okay? Because what they might not have that they need is Mary Kay.
Maybe.
I'm just saying. Dang it, I wish we had read this chapter before you skipped your reunion. Because I'd have paid for you to go to that reunion. I mean, if you're going to pay for a vendor event and you're going to drive 2 hours for a bunch of people you've never talked to, let alone not just in 5 years. Why would you do it with people you kind of know? Why wouldn't you do it with people you kind of know? It's easier to start the conversation. Go, what are you doing now? Oh, you want to know what I'm doing? I'm selling Mary Kay. What? I've been looking for Mary Kay. You don't even know what kind of conversation that would bring up. Just saying. And they're all right there. Come on now. So that's an entrepreneurial mindset. Go ahead, Tara.
Oh, no, I was just going to agree with you wholeheartedly because I live back in the town where I was originally born and was never going to come back here, raised as a military child, moved back to this base, married a couple of military people. And the current one, somehow we landed back here and we bought a house and we settled here. But, and the people, like I look at the reunion events and unfortunately our reunion has split and segregated. But so I just go to both of them. And at first I was like, I'm never doing that. I'm not doing that. I'm not, that's not my thing. Like, I don't need to see those people again. And I'm not, I'm not a part of this town. And, people need to know that I moved away and I traveled and, I didn't just stay here and work at them. Yeah, I'm like, I'm world changer. And like,
right.
That's how I felt, right? Originally, I was just like, these people like worked at the mall since high school. Now they manage the store. Like, whoopee. So this, I'm being honest. This was my
I know,
attitude,
I
right?
get it. I get it.
And
We're
I was going
laughing
off
because
of,
we've been there. We've thought those
yeah,
thoughts. I'm sure.
exactly. And I'm like, oh, yuck, a reunion. And it's like at a public park, like, and we're gonna cook out burgers and oh, yuck. Okay. So, but then I went to the first one and everybody acted people act like I was a celebrity and everybody knew me. Oh my gosh, we've seen all the places you've gone. Tell us about everything and catch us up and what have you been doing? They acted like everybody was a celebrity. And it was just an experience that now I skipped like the night club events because this is a pretty crime-ridden town also. But it was just like it was a chance to interact with so many people that I literally had chosen to ignore before and I have gotten customers and just made connections that way and then even the people that they know, it's their network and their circle that I've also reconnected with. And people have gotten to the point where when they think of, and we have a lot of American people here locally, but they connect you to that now. And so I was the same way, Leslie. I was like, oh, if I haven't seen you in all these years, like, okay, keep prom queen back in your day and great. But it was different. They're all adults and people that were even mean or not so nice. I was in high school in the Sally Jesse Raphael days. So I had giant red glasses and, super uber nerd. And all I cared about was sports. So all my friends were guys and girls hated that because I wasn't into dudes. They were athletes to me. And so, but life is so different now. And so many of the women are so nice and have made lots and lots of connections. No lifelong besties, or anything, but really, really changed the way I looked at reunions and gathering with people I used to know. So just my 2 cents.
I actually planned my 10-year reunion, which is kind of funny.
Yeah.
And I became really good friends with my middle school bully. I mean, he made my life a living hell. And at our 10-year high school reunion, we were able to move past that and became really good friends. And he was genuinely a nice guy. People who are mean in high school, just mean in general in life, are hurt. So it really came down to what he was going through at home. Had nothing to do with me. Had everything to do with what he was going through at home, and you'll never get to have those conversations or find out who had crushes on you when you were younger. That's fun too at the reunions. I had such a crush on you when we were in middle school. I had such a crush on you when we were freshmen. We could be married with kids right now. Why wouldn't you tell me that? I'm kidding. But you never know, right? So anyway, I think reunions are fun. My siblings even have me considering wanting to come in for our all school reunion that they're having because it's anybody who's graduated from our high school. And I look at that as like, oh, not only will I see all the people I like from back then, but also meet new people. And I'm always about meeting new people, Leslie. Walking into a store and hoping somebody talks to me and smiles at me. That's the perspective of a Mary Kay business owner. All right, guys. Well, thank you for coming. Those who show up, go up. Hope I've helped you think a new thought today, put a smile on your face, go out and make some new friends and influence people. Okay.
Bye.
Bye.
Yes.
Bye, Jody.
Bye.
Bye, Felicia. That's exactly how you said it. See you guys later.